In the rolling green hills of Hawkins County, Tennessee, there's a mystery that has haunted every home, every church pew, and every dusty back road for more than 3 years. A little girl with a smile brighter than the summer sun vanished without a trace. Her name is Summer Moon Utah Wells. She was only 5 years old, and on June 15th, 2021, she stepped out of her mother's sight and into a silence so deep it has never been broken. This is not just the story of a missing child. It's the story of a community torn apart. It's the story of endless searches through thick woods and steep hillsides. It's the story of neighbors, strangers, detectives, and thousands of volunteers all asking the same heartbreaking question. Where is Summer? From her mother's tearful interviews to the grandmother's quiet statements, from the father's emotional pleas to the whispers of doubt, suspicion, and conflicting timelines, we will walk through every word, every lead, and every shadow in this case. We will hear the voices of those closest to her. We will revisit the last day she was seen. We will uncover what her mother, Candus Bly, has said, and how her words have shaped both the investigation and public opinion. And we will face the reality that somewhere out there, someone knows exactly what happened on that warm summer afternoon. This is the Summer Wells story, a story that will keep you watching until the very last second, because the truth is out there, and maybe, just maybe, one detail in this very video will bring us closer to finding her. If you care about justice, if you believe every child matters, if you want to help keep Summer's name alive, don't just watch. Hit that subscribe button right now. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. Share this video so her face and her story reach every corner of the world. Because somewhere out there, someone knows the truth, and it's time they come forward. Now, let's go back to that day. Let's hear from her mother, and let's try together to bring Summer home.
It was a warm summer afternoon in rural Hawkins County, Tennessee. The rolling hills were quiet, broken only by the hum of insects and the distant rustle of wind through the trees. Life on Ben Hill Road moved at its own pace, slow, familiar, and predictable. For Candus Bly, June 15th, 2021, began like many other days. She was at home with her 3 sons and her youngest child, a lively, fearless 5-year-old girl named Summer Moon Utah Wells. Summer was the kind of child you couldn't help but notice. Small in stature, but bold in personality. She loved to run barefoot in the grass, climb anything that looked climbable, and laugh wildly when she got her way. She had a habit of keeping up with her older brothers, no matter how fast they went or how high they climbed. And that day was no different. Candus remembers that the morning had been calm. There was nothing unusual. She had taken Summer and her mother, Summer's grandmother, on a clique outing earlier that day for errands and a medical appointment. They returned home to their property on Ben Hill Road sometime in the afternoon. The property itself was tucked away, surrounded by dense forest and winding dirt paths. The house, though modest, sat in a clearing where the family had lived for years. It was the kind of place where neighbors weren't close and strangers stood out. Candus says that after they got home, she, her mother, and Summer began planting flowers together outside near the camper where her mother stayed. Summer was barefoot, her blonde hair crept short, something Candus had said that she had wanted because she wanted to look cool like her brothers. She knelt in the dirt with small hands, helping to arrange the flowers with surprising care for a child her age. According to Candus, once they were done, they walked into the house together. The boys were inside watching television. The air conditioning hummed quietly in the background. Summer, full of restless energy, asked if she could go downstairs to the basement to play.
Candus said she was just a few steps behind her daughter as she made her way down. She said, "I saw her walk in. I was right there. She wanted to play with her toys. I didn't think anything of it. It wasn't long before the house seemed too quiet."
Candus says she called out her daughter's name, Summer, but there was no answer. She walked to the basement. No sign of her. She checked the small window to see if maybe Summer had gone outside. Nothing. Her heart began to race. She went back upstairs, checked outside, called again, louder this time. Still nothing. She asked the boys if they'd seen Summer. They hadn't. She stepped outside, scanning the yard. The next few minutes are etched into her mind, minutes that would replay in her memory again and again in the years that followed. She moved quickly, checking behind the house, looking near the driveway, calling out into the woods. The trees stood still and silent. No footsteps, no giggles, no answer. By now, panic had set in. Candus pulled out her phone and called her husband, Don Wells, who was at work. She told him that Summer was missing. Don told her to hang up and call 911 immediately. Candus says she knew in her gut something was wrong. "I just knew she didn't want her off far. I knew it right away," she's repeated in interviews. Within minutes of the 911 call, Hawkins County deputies and rescue crews began to arrive. Word spread fast. The quiet hill was suddenly filled with the sound of engines, voices shouting instructions, and the hum of helicopters overhead. For days, hundreds of searchers combed the woods, creeks, and abandoned buildings. They brought in Danon units, drones, and even ground-penetrating radar, but still, nothing. From the beginning, Candus told anyone who would listen that she believed Summer was taken. She feels in her heart she was kidnapped, she said. Somebody came up here and took her. Investigators, however, did not immediately rule out other possibilities. They kept open the theory that Summer may have wandered away on her own. Candus continued to speak to the public in the days and weeks that followed. Sometimes she appeared on camera with Don, sometimes alone. Her pleas were simple but desperate. "Please bring my daughter home. We love her and we miss her so much." But as weeks turned into months, the case began attracting intense media attention, and with it, speculation. Social media exploded with theories. Strangers from across the country began dissecting every interview, every statement, every body language cue. Some offered sympathy, others pointed fingers. Candus became a target of online scrutiny. She addressed the criticism directly more than once, insisting she had nothing to do with her daughter's disappearance. People can think what they want. I know the truth, and God knows the truth. I just want my baby home. She's described that day in June so many times she's lost count, but the core details remain unchanged. They planted flowers, went inside, Summer went downstairs, and within minutes she was gone. Her own mother, Summer's grandmother, backs up that timeline, saying they were together that day and that the disappearance happened shockingly fast. Years later, Kim still speaks of Summer in the present tense. She still believes she could be alive somewhere. "If you have my daughter, please, please bring her back. She's just a little girl. She doesn't deserve to be out there alone." For the public, Candus's words have been heard in many ways, as a mother's raw grief, as a desperate attempt to keep her daughter's name in the headlines, and to some, as part of a story that still raises questions. But one thing is certain. No matter the theories, no matter the criticism, the search for Summer Wells remains unsolved. And Candus Bly's voice remains at the center of it, echoing through the years. A plea, a prayer, and the mother's unending hope